world, most of them are more or less believable. I mean, they don't. The hair colors are, as always, are outlandish, but this is an anime. This is an anime. This is a manga. We can forgive that. So yeah, and actually getting into the chapter 459, yeah, I really went off track. It was, like I said, it was good, but it was so good because the last we see from the last chapter is Kugo just stabbing, I mean, Ichigo, and it doesn't seem to injure him so much. It just kind of takes his power, and that was good. I mean, I think he probably could have gotten away with not actually injuring him because in all likelihood that'd be a fatal strike. And so yeah, that was cool. And by the way, in the previous chapter, we always wondering what happened to Uryu or Ishia, depending on that the way Japanese surnames and first names work is, it kind of confuses me, but that's something else. And so Uryu / Shishida, I'll just call him Uryu. We've always wondered what happened to him, and we kind of figured that he was slashed by Tsukushima. He's lost too, but as it turns out, no, Kugo slashed him. So Uryu's still on Ichigo's side, I suppose you could say, because signs seem a little relative right now. So he's with Ichigo at least. So that's good. And so like Uryu's just kind of like all collapsed down. He's like, no. And Ichigo's like on the ground. He's crying and whatnot because he's lost. And Kugo's I don't really say if you could call this taunting. You could probably call it taunting. I'm not sure, but it was kind of like, well, taunting-esque, and yeah, that was good. And he was kind of like taunting him, "I'm letting you live. Be happy." And Ichigo's kind of like yelling out in anger, like, "Give me my power back!" And then, but a sword comes through his heart, and for the moment I actually was worried it was Tsukushima, but then I dismissed that like almost immediately because, well, he was in front of him. But then it turns out Ishin and Urahara were there, and I was actually figured that one of them had stabbed him for whatever reason, but no, turns out, and this is where it really comes together, it was Rukia. Rukia makes her comeback after so many chapters. We see probably one of the most popular characters. Last time I checked, she was in like the top 5 at least. She might have actually been number 2, I think, below Hitsugaya. But yeah, she's finally back. I mean, this is it. This is Bleach right here. Yes. And so yeah, we finally got her back, and she stabbed Ichigo. Let me just comment on this. Let me quickly comment on this title. Actually, on second thought, I'll get to that later. Yeah, this is let me just say this is unscripted. I'm all improving this. So, you gotta give me some credit. I mean, yeah, nothing really to say there. So yeah, Rukia is back. Things are looking good, and Ichigo's consumed in this massive burst of energy and whatnot. And when he comes out, he's got his Shinigami robe on. He's got Zangetsu, Shikai, of course. And actually his Shinigami outfit actually looks a little different. He's got kind of, it looks almost like a mixture of the full bear and whatnot. He's got some braces, he's got some things around his chest and whatnot, but that's probably a little minor. Speaking of appearances, Rukia it looks considerably different. I don't think she's anything different in terms of height, and that's probably going to be a running gag in the series, Rukia's height. And but her hair is shorter, and that's probably going to be taking some getting used to, because that's a considerably large jump in character appearance. Like, for example, when Nami, after the One Piece time skip, 2 years, that was a pretty good skip. Her hair is like now down to her back or something. I mean, that took some getting used to. And but another thing is, and I know, consider this big, she's got the lieutenant's badge on her arm, and it was like, oh, she's a lieutenant, finally. And I was kind of wondered, I mean, why wasn't she the lieutenant? I mean, she was obviously strong, I mean, and she deserved, I'm for crying out loud, Ukitake, give her a friggin' position of power. I mean, she's tough. And I know Byakuya might have done something for her safety, but seriously, give her some credit. And so kind of like, yeah, that was really, really cool. So, well, yeah, that was a lot of fun. And so that was awesome. That was cool. And so, yeah, and Ichigo looks like he's back in business. I mean, he's got a Shinigami it looks like he's got Shinigami powers back, and I'm going to now speak for the title. It's called Death in the Strawberry or something like that, and it's called Death in the Strawberry 2. And to those who, I'm sure a lot of people remember this, but to those who don't, Death in the Strawberry is actually the name of the first chapter. And I suppose it was the idea of course, Rukia is sort of death, and Ichigo is the strawberry. Of course, Ichigo actually means strawberry, something like that. And so that's cool, that's cool. And so kind of this is really symbolic as in the first chapter, Rukia gave him his powers, and now in the same chapter title, basically, she's giving him again. So that was cool. That was really awesome. And so, yeah, and let me just say, the build-up wasn't so good. I mean, there was not really that. It was not really that interesting. A few of the chapters were really captivating, but most of them they were pretty slow. They were not really that interesting to look at. So, but this chapter, the payoff, in any case in Bleach, when the build-up is slow, the payoff is great. I mean, for example, when Gin betrayed Aizen, I mean, it was all this walking through. I mean, we had this thing that Gin is so. The build-up to Gin, I mean, I saw that out. That was completely out of the blue for me. I never saw that coming. And so, the build-up was not that good. I mean, but the payoff when Gin actually did it, that was freaking awesome. So Kubo's build-up is kind of iffy. It can be good sometimes, but most of the time, but a lot of the times it's not really that good. But the payoff, a lot of times, is really good. That was just a great payoff, a great way to kind of jumpstart the series. And I'm glad I read it. I'm always glad I read. I'm glad I read Bleach. It's one of my favorites. My top favorite manga are One Piece, Bleach, and probably some others. Maybe I'll do another video on that. So yeah, that was cool. This was a great chapter. It makes a lot of these things worth it. Things are really picking back up, and I have to confess, I'm hoping at least that Ichigo gets his hollow powers back, because that was a large part of his character for a lot of the series. So, and that was what made his character really interesting. And the Hollow Mask design, the Hollow Mask design was kind of plain, but it was just really cool to look at. So, I'm hoping at least that he gets his hollow powers back. In all honesty, he probably won't, but guess we have to see. So, don't suppose there's really that much to say. I guess thanks for watching. Hope you enjoyed this, and leave a review. Non King 07 here.